Please feel free to talk amongst yourselves while we have this little meeting up here. The Senate will now come to order. The Pledge of Allegiance will now be led by Chief of Staff Tax, followed by a moment of silence and reflection.
If willing and able, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence. You may be seated.
The clerk will now call the roll. Please correct the pronunciation if your name is said incorrect.
Apple, Baber, Barr, Bracy, Bryant, Calder, Creed, Darby, Durham, Galavati, Galt, Goldstein, Hamilton, Harvey, Heater, Hensley, Hurd, Kennedy, Kuhn, Kwame, Keene, Lazarenu, Malachi, Miller, Montalto, Morgan, Nelson, Wynn, Peterson, Ravi, Robinson, Sane, Vadlamani, Vaught, Wenzel, Whitehead.
With a quorum being present, is there a motion to approve the Journal of September 6, 2023 as found online? Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Chairwoman Creed. We will record that. Thank you. We are now in line for general orders of the Senate, beginning with reports from Senate leadership. Speaker Pro Tempore Hurd is recognized to give a report on the Rules Committee.
Good afternoon, everyone, and especially good afternoon to our 8 senators designate back there. Rules Committee reported 2 bills out of committee, and so we are going to hear those on the first reading calendar today. In addition to that, the Rules Committee, which makes up our committee chairs, wanted me to continue to encourage you guys to write legislation and also add that we are here as resources, and we highly recommend that when you are thinking of bill ideas, you reach out to your committee chair, you reach out to me, you reach out to Cameron or Speaker Eubanks, and you allow us to help you in finding those research people that you need to help. For example, your university counterparts. Finally, we are going to ask for a 1-week extension on the nomination of delegation chairs later today. And the purpose of that is to give you all another opportunity to continue to express interest in it. And we want our 8 senators designate back there to also have the opportunity to be delegation chairmen. And so I would express to all of you, if you're interested, if you just want to know what the job does, shoot me a text and I'll walk you through it. But most importantly, you represent your college and you're that boots on the ground. And I think we can all agree that if there's one thing the Senate needs to be doing, it needs to be reaching out to our colleges and really making contact with students instead of just student government people all the time. And with that, I yield to questions. Thank you.
The Speaker Pro Tempore yields to questions. Are there any questions for the Speaker Pro Tempore? Chairman Kuhn.
So first and foremost, a delegation chair leads their delegation meeting. So a delegation is the college that you are representing. College of Arts and Science, College of Engineering and Computing. Some colleges are smaller than others. So for example, our College of Education has 2 senators. So sometimes it's more intimate and sometimes it's a larger group. But every delegation serves the same purpose, which is advocacy, but reaching out to students directly. It's the idea that we don't know everything. We have to reach out to students and ask them what are their issues. And so they are responsible for scheduling tabling events, as well as working with their delegation senators to sort of be guides on legislation that specifically pertains to your college. And so you would be responsible for reaching out to all of your senators and checking in with them, and also trying to figure out if they're reaching any roadblocks in writing their legislation. Thank you.
Any other questions for the Speaker Pro Tempore? Senator Miller.
So all senators are going to be expected to attend delegation meetings once we get that started. So there won't be additional meetings that you're going to be attending. There will be additional responsibilities from just a regular delegation member, but there shouldn't be additional meetings.
Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. We will now hear a report from the Academics Committee. Chairwoman Creed, you are recognized.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our new senatorial nominees. So the Academics Committee met Monday at 6 p.m., not 7. I said 7 last week. We meet at 6 in the LSC. And this week, we just talked about what we want to look forward to working on this semester. For me, my big thing is transfer credits. I am a transfer student, and I know how hard it can be transferring schools and not having stuff count towards your degree. It's very frustrating, but that is something that I look forward to trying to fix and better for those who are choosing to join us at University of South Carolina. Another thing that we will be looking at is moving to the new advising plan, helping the advising committee and
The Provost's office.
the provost office with everything that they need with advising. I plan on meeting with Claire Robinson soon and discussing whatever she needs help with. Other than that, nothing else is really going on. Just talked about stuff that's important coming up with Senate, like our Senate retreat that's happening this weekend. Don't forget to go there. And with that, I yield to questions.
The chairwoman yields to questions. Are there any questions for the chairwoman? Seeing none, thank you so much. We will now hear a report from the Finance Committee. Chairman Kuhn, you are recognized.
Hey everybody, we had a pretty typical finance meeting last Friday. We had, I think, 2 dialogues and a couple smaller allocation requests, which I'll talk to you guys about later. But this week we're really excited. They're gonna start learning how to write legislation and the budget requests, so I don't have to do it. No, just kidding. But they will be learning how to do that this week. That's pretty exciting. But besides that, that's all that happened. I yield to questions.
The chairman yields to questions. Are there any questions for the chairman? Seeing none, thank you so much. We will now hear a report from the Health and Safety Committee. Vice Chairman, is the Vice Chairman able to give a report? Perfect.
Hi everyone. Health and Safety met on Friday at 4 in the LSC. We were able to find Huda Fallis unanimously favorable to the Deputy Secretary of Health and Wellness. We're continuing our initiatives that we've been working on. So Senators Hensley and Harvey are working on the social media for transportation initiatives, collaborating with the Sustainability Committee. We're starting to get organizations in on the begin supply drives for the menstrual product drive and promoting the College of Pharmacy flu shot drive to increase the College of Pharmacy's involvement. That's all we have for this. Yield to question.
The Vice Chairwoman yields to questions. Are there any questions for the Vice Chairwoman? Seeing none, thank you. We will now hear a report from the Inclusion and Equity Committee. Chairwoman Bracy, you are recognized.
Hi, y'all. So the Inclusion and Equity Committee, we had 3 interviews this week. We found Tristan Bonomo unanimously favorable for the position of Deputy Secretary of Disability Services. The other 2 interviews were conducted this afternoon for the positions of Deputy Secretary of Student Services and Deputy Secretary of Inclusion and Equity, and we will have their decisions out within the next 24 to 48 hours max. And we're gonna start getting things done on our action plan. I yield to questions.
Are there any questions for the chairwoman? Seeing none, thank you so much. We will now hear a report from the Judiciary Committee. Chairman Bryant, you are recognized.
Good evening, everybody. So the Judiciary Committee met this past Friday at 1 p.m., as we usually do, in the LSC. During that meeting, we held a confirmation hearing for Ms. London Patel, who has been acting as the director of the local lobbying agency, and we found her unanimously favorable. So very shortly, we'll be moving forward with that confirmation. Also, we expect that a bill regarding some of the governing documents will be coming to Judiciary. And I just want to take this time to express that Judiciary's purview is the governing documents. And so if anyone wants to come and sit in our meetings, they are public all the time. And I also have instituted an area called Public Forum, which is in the beginning of the meeting. So I allow guests and members not of the committee to come and express their feelings or thoughts to the committee. So just to keep that, because that is something that affects us all. And with that, I yield to questions.
The chairman yields to questions. Are there any questions for the chairman? Seeing none, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll now hear a report from the Powers and Responsibilities Committee. Chairwoman Baber, you are recognized.
Hi, everybody. Powers and Responsibilities has been pretty busy over the past week. We had interviews that were conducted on Thursday and on Monday. We usually meet Mondays at 7 p.m. though. We had 13 interviews, and we ended up finding 8 of them favorable candidates. So welcome, guys and ladies. Yeah, I think that's all that we did. I yield to questions.
The chairwoman yields to questions. Are there any questions for the chairwoman? Seeing none, thank you so much. We'll now hear a report from the Student Life Committee. Chairwoman Malachi, you are recognized.
Hi everyone, happy Wednesday. So Student Life met Monday at 5 to conduct 3 array interviews. We found Turney, Rowley, Cole Creighton, and Tristan Bonomo all unanimously favorable. As well, we'll have 3 other interviews this upcoming Monday. And then lastly, we began to discuss OSCA Senator details. And with that, I yield my time to questions.
The chairwoman yields to questions. Are there any questions for the chairwoman? Seeing none, thank you. We'll now hear a report from the Sustainability Committee. Chairwoman Heater, you are recognized.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to start by welcoming our new Senate nominees. Very exciting. I want to encourage you to join Sustainability Committee if you are interested at all in sustainability. We meet Tuesdays at 1 in the LSC, and we're working on some pretty exciting things. So to start, last meeting we met with Deputy Secretary of Sustainability, Peter Sutton. We are discussing how exec and Senate can collab together to increase participation between the branches. Down the line, we may be introducing some recycling legislation once we meet with the proper university stakeholders. Currently, we are collaborating with the Health and Safety Committee, which was said, and we're developing a U101 presentation that includes information on both public transportation and sustainability at USC. I wanted to shout out to my Vice Chairman Hensley and Senator Harvey, who are working with Sustainable Carolina to get resources for this initiative. We hope to pass some legislation on this as well down the line. Finally, tomorrow I'm meeting with Blair Elliott to discuss potential initiatives for campus sustainability, and I yield to questions. I can say that word.
The chairwoman yields to questions. Are there any questions for the chairwoman? Seeing none, thank you. We'll now hear a report from the Freshman Council. Are there any representatives from the Freshman Council present? Seeing none. We will now hear a report from the Constitutional Council. Chief Justice Buchmeyer, you are recognized. Seeing none. We will now hear a report from the Speaker of the Student Senate, Cameron Eubanks. Chief of Staff Courtney Tax, you are recognized.
Hey y'all. So I just wanted to thank you guys again. I mean, if you are leaving early, the proxy forms went great. Thank you for reaching out to me. We're meeting quorum, so I'm very proud of you guys. So the big thing that we have is Senate Retreat this Sunday from 11 to 4. Our aspect or our side of the retreat is from 11 to 2, and then we're joining Freshman Council for the field day from 2 to 4. Now in the Google Drive is an RSVP. Everybody needs to fill that out, whether you're going or you are unable to attend. In that document, there is a place that if you cannot attend where you are submitting your excuse, but you also need to reach out to me before that just to make sure that I know about it, and then again, just submit your excuse through there. So one of the clarifying things that I wanted to bring up, Vice Chairman, I really need you guys to submit your minutes. Those are all going into the drive. So if you are a Vice Chairman or if you're a chairperson, please remind your Vice Chairman to submit those minutes kind of as soon as you can. And Vice Chairman, please clarify on your absences, whether they're excused or unexcused. If you don't clarify, everybody's getting marked unexcused. And I really don't want to have to sit down and talk to people if you go over your amount of committee absences. Oh, and Senate bios. We have in this Google Drive, we have our PowerPoint. We want to make sure that we have all of your guys' information for one of our marketing things that we're working on right now. So to the 5 senators that have filled it out, I love you forever and ever. But please fill that out. And to our Senate nominees, you will see that, fill it out. And I hope to see all of your guys' pictures of your bright, smiling faces and get to know a fun fact about you. But with that, I yield my time to questions.
The Chief of Staff yields to questions. Are there any questions? Senator Hamilton, excuse me.
It is in the Google Drive. It should be on the first page. So if you go into our Google Drive, click on 115th Student Senate, it should be in there. If not, I'll go clarify and I'll put it in there if it's not.
And point of information, when you fill out the RSVP form, it's also for people who are coming late as well. So again, if you're returning or if you're coming to the retreat late, you'll need to submit like an excuse, again, religious exemption, illness, personal illness, family emergency, all those are excused. So you'll need to submit proof of that in that form. It also asks 2 questions about the field day and the mentor and mentees. I would encourage all of you to consider taking a mentee. Yes, it is in student government, but these students are freshmen and a lot of you are not. So it is more than just student government. You can talk about your experience in other organizations, talk about your experience at USC. Yes, again, it is in student government, but kind of expand on your knowledge of campus as well. So we highly encourage you to take one of those. The form for that is in the form for the RSVP, and the form for the field day numbers is also in that RSVP. So all you have to do is click on that form, fill it out. It takes less than 5 minutes. I practiced it myself to make sure that I'm speaking the truth on that. And that's all you have to fill out for the entire day, because it's all the forms all in one thing for you. So yeah.
And yes, please take a mentee. Senator Kuhn is currently getting triplets because he did fill out the form 3 times. So to avoid him getting triplets, please fill out the form.
Any other questions for the Chief of Staff? Seeing none, thank you. We are now in line for a report for the Student Body Treasurer. Chief of Staff Sean Duty, you are recognized.
Hello, everyone. If you don't know me, my name's Sean Duty. I'm the Chief of Staff to lovely Treasurer Augsback Lama. She couldn't be here today. She's getting ready for a Treasurer's Workshop that will be held in roughly an hour. So introduction. That'll be important later. But updates from our office, our comptrollers are doing very well. Some of them are a lot more busy than others, but they're all doing very well. They're sending through quality stuff to the Senate Finance Committee, which we've kept in close communication with. No issues from any of them. All of them have attended a treasurer's workshop, so they fulfill that requirement for the codes. And if you guys are in an org that hasn't gone to a treasurer's workshop, I want to let you guys know that they will not be, they cannot request funding. In our codes, it says you have to go to a treasurer's workshop to request funding. So any org that hasn't requested funding is instantly getting denied until they do attend a workshop. Workshops, we've held 4 already. We have one tonight, then we have one on October 1st, and we will be continuing the trend of doing one on the 1st of every single month, and then also as they are needed. So tonight is just specifically for sports orgs. There's a whole explanation behind that, but we're doing one for the sports orgs. If you guys are doing any legislation concerning finance or you want to learn more about our branch, please reach out to me. Hannah has a lot of her own stuff going on. And then if you do know the chief comptroller, Natalia, her main job is to oversee the comptroller. So I should be your point of contact with that. Even if you just want to let me know what's coming through, like you don't necessarily want any input, which I think like our input is valuable, but even if it's just to let us know, like please reach out. It's a lot better for communication wise. And next Friday we will be talking about in the Senate Finance Committee more what to do to avoid using the entirety of the funds. Other than that, I yield my time to questions.
The Chief of Staff yields to questions. Are there any questions for the Chief of Staff? Seeing none, thank you. We are now in line for a report from the Student Body Vice President. Chief of Staff, you are recognized.
Hey, Senate. We just have a few updates this week. Unfortunately, Aubriana was out sick for a little bit of last week, so we had to reschedule some things. We have a meeting with the Assistant Director of GMG about Inside the 1801 podcast. Right now, we're sort of figuring where we want to take that this school year. We have a meeting with SAFE leadership upcoming about alcohol safety resources, so that is also on the calendar. Tomorrow we are going to select our Swipe Out Hunger recipients, and then this weekend they'll be notified, and then by Monday, hopefully, we'll be able to start using that program. Courtney touched on it, thankfully, but freshman council members will know tonight if they got in or not. We have the mentor forum closing. We'll send that again in the SG-wide group me, but we'd love to see y'all sign up for that. And then this retreat is going to be Sunday from 2 to 4. If you guys wanted to show up at like 1:45, we're all going to walk the freshmen down to Strom Fields. If you wanted to show up at 2, just show up to Strom Fields. It'll be a great time. It's like a mini little field day for us. And then upcoming, we have Safety Week. That's going to be next week. We have events going on pretty much every day. On Monday, we're going to have Pizza with Poppy. I believe we sent the sign up for Safety Week in the group me already. So if you guys have any free time over this upcoming week, please sign up for one of those events. But yeah, Pizza with Poppy is going to be on Green Street on Monday. On Tuesday, we're going to do a safety walk. We're going to meet in the LSC at 7:30. And that's just basically all of us walking around campus and sort of pointing out anywhere we think there might be a safety flaw. So hopefully we can fix that for the school year. Wednesday night, there is going to be a self-defense workshop from 6 to 8 p.m. Feel free to show up to that. There is a link on the sheets to sign up. And then we have a What's My Name Zoom happening Thursday evening. For those of you that aren't aware, that is just in conjunction with Samantha Josephson's father. It's a great cause. Everybody should be using Sammy when they get in the car, but please show up to that. And then it's not our office, but we do have a voter registration drive ongoing. That's also going to be happening on Thursday. That's another programming event that you guys can just show up for. Give 30 minutes, give an hour, but hopefully get students registered to vote in real elections. And then finally, this one is not a Safety Week event. It's going to be Thursday the 28th, but we are going to be giving out nightcaps. That's going to be from like 11 to 2, I want to say. But for those of you that don't know, nightcaps are like disposable protective covers for your drink. Just sort of another alcohol safety event, making sure all of our students are protected. And with that, I yield to questions.
And point of information, the NICAP initiative is in partnership with the University of Tennessee's student government. So that was planned over the summer at the SEC Exchange, and we're super, super excited to partner with them on this really, really important initiative. The Chief of Staff yields to questions. Are there any questions for the Chief of Staff? Seeing none, thank you so much. We are now in line for a report from the student body president. President Thompson, you are recognized.
Hi everyone, hope y'all have had a good week so far. Thank you guys for interviewing so many cabinet nominees this week. I'm super excited to be getting them in, and for the rest of them this week, I'm excited for y'all to get to know them. We're gonna have another Hibachi by the Horseshoe outreach event on Tuesday, October 24th. So if you or your friends wanna come and get some free teriyaki chicken and fried rice, it'll be a good little like meet the execs / get some free food, and that'll be 12 to 2 on Green Street. Brandon touched with us already, but our Elections Commission is having a voter registration drive next Tuesday, which is National Voter Registration Day. So that's September 19th, and it'll be 11 to 2 on Green Street as well. We also had a meeting with them today and laid out a timeline for elections, and they're in the works of getting a candidate interest meeting going for the fall. We're also working with Cleet Myers and the Russell House to talk about the potential of getting student access to microwaves. That is a concern that we have received. So we're in the process of working with Airmark and Kim McMahon to see if that would be a possibility. Next SUI, I know we mentioned it at the last SUI, but just to go ahead and make sure it's on y'all's radars, it'll be Tuesday, October 3rd at 5 p.m. The president is coming, and so it's super important that we show out because he's taking time out of his busy schedule to come and hear our concerns and help us with our initiatives. It's going to be a Q&A style event, so we will have you guys fill out a Q&A form in advance if you want to ask a question. My director of special projects will be sending that out soon. So you'd be selected in advance to ask your question, and there's extra time on the spot, then you can ask more as well. We just want to be respectful of the 30 minutes that he has. I have a board meeting this Friday. Board of Trustees meets. We have Advancement, Engagement, and Communications Committee, Finance and Infrastructure, Health and Medical Affairs, University Systems, Governance, and Board of Trustees committee meetings. Met with the chair for Advancement, Engagement, and Communications Committee this week to discuss ways that the board can better communicate with students. That's a project that they're allocating funds for, so definitely want to see that come into fruition. It's a goal of mine to meet with a different trustee before each meeting, so make sure they hear student concerns firsthand. This meeting will be very highly dedicated to the fiscal year 25 budget, so looking forward to updating y'all on that. We're also in the works of planning a basic needs drive competition between student government and other leadership and service organizations on campus. So that will launch mid-fall, and it will contribute to our community shop. Right now, we're matching statistics from the community shop last year and their first few weeks' data to figure out this year's largest needs and logistics of that competition. Also working on getting information on what would need to happen to have a traffic light installed at the intersection between Whaley and Lincoln. I'm sure you guys have seen the congestion there at the back entrance of Greek Village, and so that's definitely become a concern for a lot of students. From government relations, their application closes tomorrow, so keep encouraging anybody who's interested to apply before the deadline. We met with Craig Parts and Derek McGee this week, who are our administrative counterparts, and they are super excited to work with us on the initiatives that we are passionate about. Also, please text Brandon or Patton by tonight if you're interested in being a part of a student government intramural team. I think we're looking at football, flag football, and kickball primarily, but they're open to suggestions. Also, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but in the student government conference room in the back of the suite, there's a poster board, and it says, because of student government, students will, ... So please, as you're working on initiatives, like, if you accomplish something for students, just fill it out on there. It's good for morale, and it's really fun, and we get to see everybody's accomplished initiatives. And then probably the most special thing I got to be a part of, not just this week, but probably in my term, we had the 60th anniversary of desegregation for the university on Monday, and so I was actually able to meet 2 of the students who were the first Black students to attend here. They were just absolutely inspiring, and it was a super special event. We were able to break ground on the monument that's to come in 2024 to honor Dr. Henri Monteith Treadwell, Dr. James Solomon, and the late Robert Anderson. So that was a super just powerful and touching event that I had the honor of being a part of, and that monument will be revealed in 2024. It's left of McKissick if you haven't seen the picture up there in the horseshoe, but that's going to be great, and so I'll keep y'all updated on the date of that reveal. Last thing for me, the provost office has asked that I put together a group of first-generation students who can contribute to the idea of forming a first-generation living and learning center. So if any of you are first-generation students or you know of friends who are that would be interested in serving in that committee, please text me or Patton so that we can get the provost those names. And with that, I'll yield for questions.
The student body president yields to questions. Are there any questions for the president? Seeing none, thank you so much.
Y'all.
We are now in line for special orders of the Senate. Are there any letters, petitions, appointments, applications, or other? The clerk will now read.
A communication from the Office of the Speaker of the Student Senate requesting a 1-week extension for the following positions: legislative aide and assistant clerk.
The question is of a 1-week extension of the appointment of legislative aide and assistant clerk. All in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The extension is granted. Continuing on with special orders of the Senate, the clerk will now read.
A communication from the Office of the Speaker of the Student Senate requesting a 1-week extension for the nomination of delegation chairpersons.
The question is of a 1-week extension on the nomination of delegation chairpersons. All in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The extension is granted. Continuing on with special orders, the clerk will now read.
A communication from the Office of the Student Body President requesting a 1-week extension for the following position: Elections Commission member.
The question is of a 1-week extension on the appointment of Elections Commission members. All in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The extension is granted. Continuing on with special orders, the clerk will now read.
Application of Reagan Floyd, Aiden Grunner, Camden Kay, and Brandon Miller to be seated in the 115th Student Senate.
The applications are referred to the Powers and Responsibilities Committee. Continuing on with special orders of the Senate, the clerk will now read.
Approval of the following committee assignments for the newly confirmed senators filling vacant seats: William Barnes, Student Life and Sustainability; Luke Phillips, Student Life and Sustainability; Caleb Lapsley, Student Life and Sustainability; Shin Lin, Student Life and Sustainability; Benjamin Cost, Inclusion and Equity in Academics; Philip Howe, Inclusion and Equity in Academics; Grant Sellers, Inclusion and Equity in Academics; and Mia Lapinta, Inclusion and Equity in Academics.
The question is of approval of committee assignments. All in favor, please say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The committee assignments are approved. Continuing on with special orders of the Senate, the clerk will now read. Seeing no more special orders, we are now in the motion period. Are there any motions on the floor? Chairman Bryant. There's been a motion to confirm London Patel to the position of Director of the Local Lobbying Agency. All in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The nominee is confirmed. Speaker Pro Tempore Hurd. There's been a motion to add Speaker Pro Tempore Hurd to the Finance Committee. All in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. He is moved. Chairwoman Baber. There's been a motion to confirm those senators filling vacant seats to the position of a student senator in the 115th. All in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The nominees are confirmed. Is there any more motions? Chairwoman Malachi. There's been a motion to confirm Cole Creighton as Deputy Secretary Athletics. All in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The nominee is confirmed. Chairwoman Malachi. There's a motion to confirm Tristan Bonomo to Deputy Secretary of Disability Services. All in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The nominee is confirmed. Any other motions? Senator Morgan. There's been a motion to add Senator Morgan to the Judiciary Committee. All in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Senator Miller. There's been a motion to confirm the nominee to Deputy Secretary of Health and Wellness. All in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The nominee is confirmed. Senator Hamilton? Granted. Any other motions on the floor? Chairwoman Malachi? Granted. Is there a motion to suspend the rules to allow the new staff members, new staff members, cabinet members, and newly confirmed senators to come down and take their oaths of office? Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Speaker Pro Tempore Hurd, you are recognized to deliver the oath of office. If all newly confirmed senators and newly confirmed cabinet members and staff members, if you could please come down and get sworn in. Applause, yes. Let's see. All right, for photography purposes, we're going to have you kind of extend just a little bit. Let's see. If we get everybody in here, we may have to kind of scrunch in. And then, Lauren, if you will kind of move anybody you need to move. All of your lovely faces are going on all of our social medias. Congratulations. All right, just let us know when you're ready. Lauren? All righty, Speaker Pro Tempore Hurd, whenever you're ready. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly pledge to faithfully execute the office of, and state your office. To abide by the student government codes. To uphold the Carolinian Creed. And to represent my constituents to the best of my ability. Congratulations. All the newly confirmed senators, you are now allowed to take a seat within the body. Congratulations. I'll give just a couple minutes for everyone to get settled. All right. Is there any other motion on the floor? Seeing no more motions, is there a motion to dispense with the motion period? Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. We are now in the call of the introduction of new legislation. The clerk will now read.
SBL 11511, introduced by Chairman Kuhn, a recommendation to permit the Senate Finance Committee to allocate funds to student organizations.
Chairman Kuhn, you are recognized to speak on the legislation.
Hi, everyone. Back with our weekly finance bill. Pretty typical. We are allocating to 3 clubs with a total of $10,154.30. The clubs are Delta Sigma Pi, Dalva On Campus, and American Society of Mechanical Engineers. And I yield to questions.
The chairman yields to questions. Are there any questions for the chairman? Seeing none, thank you so much. Is there a motion?
A motion to pass by acclamation.
There's been a motion to pass by acclamation. Is there a second? All in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The legislation is adopted. Continuing on with the call of introduction of new legislation, the clerk will now read.
SBL 11512, introduced by Senator Morgan, a bill to amend the codes regarding the transition period following the student government elections.
Senator Morgan, you are recognized to speak on the legislation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm glad to be up here today presenting my maiden piece of legislation. As we just heard from the clerk, the point of this bill would be aimed at amending the code so that there would be a shortened transition period between the election and inauguration, as well as a provision stating that the Student Senate must go back into session after a certain time post-inauguration. My rationale for cutting the lame duck session was so that we can get, the newly elected executives and the newly elected senators back into, the new term sooner so they can get back to work for the people who put them in office in a quicker manner. In turn, specifically from a senatorial viewpoint, but it's not really limited to such a reference. By making sure that this provision is in place, we would be ensuring increased efficiency so that it would allow for senators to have more time to pass legislation, become more adept with the way the Senate works, especially for new senators. And in the case of both the Senate and arguably the case can be made for the exec, for more initiatives to be spearheaded. So it's my opinion that it would bode well for the new senators, but hopefully everyone here shares my sentiment of cutting lame duck session and making student government more efficient for the students of this great university. With that being said, I yield to questions.
The senator yields to questions. Are there any questions for the senator? Chairwoman Baber.
So, and I'm terribly sorry. I'm just trying to get an understanding of what you were asking. Could you ask it again? I'm sorry.
So you said at the very entrance of
Yes.
the legislation that it should be held no earlier than 3 weeks, no later than 4 weeks. Is there any way you can make it 2 to 4 weeks, or 1 to 4 weeks, or is there a reason for it?
No, I mean, I'm open to that. I would be okay with that. I think I looked at the calendar for the academic calendars all the way through 2029 on the website. That's as far as they published it. I think anything less than saying no earlier than 2 weeks, anything less than that, that would be in confliction with spring break. I would be willing to have this amended in committee if it passes first reading. Yeah.
Any other questions for the senator? Seeing none, thank you so much. The legislation is referred to the Judiciary Committee. The clerk will now read for another call of the introduction of legislation. Hearing none. We are now in the call of the uncontested calendar. The clerk will now read. Hearing none. That completes the call of the uncontested legislation. We are now in line for the call of the contested calendar. The clerk will now read. Hearing none. We are now in line for a period of open discussion. Does any senator wish to bring a matter of attention to the body? Seeing none. We are now in line for a period of announcements. Are there any announcements on the floor? Senator Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'll make this brief, folks. Not this one, I'm getting ahead of myself. Monday the 25th of September from 6 to 8 p.m. is Shag Night. So y'all come out and shag dance with me. I think the president's going to be there. I think she mentioned it. I believe former Senator Jordan Velez will be there. She mentioned it to me. So 6 to 8 p.m., Russell House Ballroom, Monday, September 25th. I hope to see you all there. I yield the questions.
The senator yields to questions. Are there any questions for the senator? Seeing none. Thank you. Are there any other announcements on the floor? Speaker Pro Tempore Hurd, you are recognized.
Good afternoon. I already had my shameless plug about delegation chairs for current senators, but I wanted to remind our newly seated senators, please check with the clerk to see what your assigned college is, because you're not necessarily representing the college that you are a student of. And if you're interested in serving that college, please meet me up at the front afterwards and we can talk about what delegation chair does. But it's a great way for, as a first-year senator, for you to get involved. Thank you. I yield to questions.
Are there any questions for the Speaker Pro Tempore? Seeing none, thank you so much. Are there any other announcements on the floor? Seeing none, as always, I do have an announcement. I wanted to officially congratulate the newly appointed and confirmed senators. We're so happy that you're in the body. As you can see, we move at a pretty lively pace. Usually the structure of it follows the same template, just the things in the structure changes every week. I highly encourage you guys, once you kind of meet with us after the meeting, to really look at the committees you've been assigned to, look at their jurisdictions, their purviews, look at the meeting times, and if those match your schedule, if those seem of interest to you, definitely stay in them. But if they do not, next week you will get the opportunity during the motion period to remove or add yourself to another committee. So you kind of saw an example of that tonight. Like I said, we'll go over that more in your training that will happen over the next week. We're super excited to get to know each and every one of you. Again, if you have any questions during this process, please don't hesitate to ask me or anyone on my staff or the Speaker Pro Tempore, or really any other senator in the body. They can definitely help you out. Just as a reminder, our Senate retreat for everyone is this Sunday from 11 to 4. Like Courtney said, the RSVP form is in the Google Drive. Vacant seat senators, since this is a little bit less late-minute notice, you guys are not necessarily required to be there, but I highly encourage you to. If you have time, we'll be going over a lot of our strategic plan for the year. You'll be getting your Senate manuals. So there'll be a lot of instructional things that'll kind of help you kind of absorb to the learning curve that is our body. It is 11 to 4 in Ballroom C of Russell House. We will open the event with an inaugural longest table lunch with freshman council. So you guys will be the very first faces that they meet in student government, other than the directors and the vice president's staff and the vice president herself. So that being said, we don't want to scare them, right? We want to be nice and welcoming, and we want them to continue in student in student government, and hopefully, if they choose to do so, run for a senatorial position. So please come with a smiling face. Come prepared to get to know everybody. It is a bring your own lunch situation. So, like I said, pack a lunch. I'll be packing a lunch like it is high school, middle school, elementary school, all of those things. I do that now. I don't know why I'm saying that. But pack a lunch, bring it. We're going to divide you up into groups, and you're going to get to know the freshman council members that are being let know tonight if they are in the organization. And we will then go into our instruction of the retreat. The retreat works a little bit different than our training. The retreat is more of a time for us to all of us to get together to really focus on our initiatives and draft some legislation together. So it will not look like our training. So if you have any concerns about that, please know that it is a completely different program. And it is not necessarily a training, but more of an opportunity to all get on the same page and set the tone for the rest of the term. Other than that, if there's any questions, again, please don't hesitate to reach out or ask. For the newly elected senators, our offices are in the back of the Leadership and Service Center. We basically live there, so please come by. I do have some complimentary juice boxes for perusal, and so you want a High C Orange Lava Burst juice box. So please come and meet with us because we basically live there. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to stop by. And with that, I will yield to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, are there any other announcements on the floor? Seeing none, with no further announcements, is there a motion to adjourn? Is there a second? Without objection, the Senate will now stand adjourned until Wednesday, September 20th, 2023. I'm going to connect with you after the meeting, or after I do this really quick.